Time for the most articulate of the 3 side missions following Chickamauga. I saved this one until last because it features heavily on maneuver and precision, and can range anywhere from an absolute masterpiece to a mired massacre on both sides. As such, I wanted the enemy force to be as small as possible before entering. I'll skip right to the after army revisions, and you may notice something about my remaining cash. I said after last round that I did so well that I should be back in the black, and yet here I am with even fewer funds than Mansfield. This is because I actually had the spare funding to not only rebuild 3rd Corps, but also 2nd. So I'm actually doing quite well, and hope to have this stage continue the trend. And speaking of noticing things, there's a second part of this screen I'd like to highlight, and it's down here in the Scrub World division. This is something I haven't done since, Cross Keys? But there is going to be one specific part of this battlefield that is so brutal that I decided to pump 2 of my brigades up to the absolute maximum size, so that they can occupy that critical area despite the losses they will incur. Of course, they are my most poorly equipped and experienced scrub teams, led by my lower officers. And, without further ado, let's get this stage going. On May 4, 1864, the Army of the Potomac crossed the Rapidan River to the north at 3 separate points. It seems that Grant is planning to converge his army at the Wilderness Tavern. Confederate forces are advancing in 2 parallel roads to intercept the enemy. You've been assigned to lead the left flank moving on the Orange Turnpike. On May 5, the Union 5th Corps has spotted your presence and is coming along the Orange Turnpike to attack you. Advance your force and repel the Federal attack. Sure sounds like a defensive map, but don't be fooled. We have to aggressively capture 2 objectives this stage to win. So, continuing the trend of revisiting vacation spots, this part of the map here is the western approach during the Chancellorsville stage. So in the last few videos, we went from dominating Chancellorsville to dominating Gettysburg, to fighting outside of Gettysburg and dominating, to fighting outside of Chancellorsville and, hopefully, dominating. General, the Federal 5th Corps is approaching the Saunders fields. This is a good place to deploy your men and deal with the Yankees. Advance the arriving portions of your corps and create a strong defensive line at Saunders Farm. The objective you can see is here, but there is another one that will be spawning here. Because of that second one, we cannot assume this is a defensive map, though starting off the map by entrenching in the woods and letting them come to us is definitely the play. There are 3 defensive points here for us, and their bonus is fair, I guess, but they won't be of much use for 2 reasons. First off, they are close enough to the enemy that if we use them, they can fight from tree cover, but if instead we hold the tree lines, we can pull them into the open fields to fire at them. Second, the Union have their own defensive spots, a lot of them, located here, and with much better bonuses than ours. We want to spend as little time engaging their defenders as possible, instead shooting at, basically anything else, although artillery and open field infantry are always the good go-tos. Amusingly, the Northern Union defensive spots here actually work for both sides, but even after chasing a Union unit out of them, we have no interest in taking it for ourselves, as their facing is exactly the wrong direction for us. We start the map with 10 deployable brigades, and we'll get the rest of our corps throughout the first phase, with the first elements of the Reserve Corps showing up at the start of Phase 2. Our first 10 are going to set up a defensive perimeter. I will be placing the 2 inflated scrub teams here, after splitting off a skirmish team from each to occupy the woods to the right. A sniper infantry will go here, the 3 mid-range teams will take up these spots, and I'll back them up with 2 close support batteries here, and the 20-pound Parrott group back here. For my last brigade, I will bring in the sniper skirmishers, but they will be taking a field trip way up the left side, outside of any early stage fighting. The 2 infantry units here, in addition to holding the line as necessary, will also be doing that thing where, if an enemy that's targeting the, well, live bait units, moves into a place where I can get at them safely, I will move them up to take a volley, and then move back if they come under threat. The Union are in the same deployment boat, having about 14 units in the field to start, and getting in several batches of reinforcements. And interdicting what reinforcements do show up will be 3/4 of this stage's strategy. When our first group of reinforcements arrive, and if I planned out my deployment correctly, it should include my 3 cavalry squads, I'll be sending the cannons to back up the main fight, but then sending the others up the left edge. The infantry will take up spots here for later in the stage, but the cavalry will proceed to come in behind the sniper team, and they will then both press east behind the various Union forces. Their target is a group of Union reinforcements that arrive at 1400 on the game clock, and consist of, I think it's 6 cannon batteries, followed up by 4 infantry units at 1415. But here's where this stage's great piece of intel comes in. The Union's infantry comes in like this, and their cannons seem to arrive like this. This gives us the opportunity to smack the crap out of their artillery before it has a chance to join the main fight. Most of the cannons will simply have no guard against a cavalry sweep. The batteries at the far right will overlap with some of their infantry, but if you manage your cavalry and sniper teams well, you can take out the left side cannons, then back out of spotting range, letting the Union try and get its forces to the main fight, but then their infantry will outrun their cannons, and you can run in for the cannon killing round number 2, basically leaving the Union with only the cannons they started the map with. In the top left of the map, actually, you know what, I'll leave that for a bit later. You'll notice my scrub teams are not up at the edge of the woods. I want the Union to come forward to engage me, giving my flanking infantry more room to get in to take shots without getting counterfired. Ideally, I want to be at just the right spot so that the approaching Union stop moving and start firing right before they get in the woods themselves, though that's easier said than done. Why, hello there, unescorted cannons. Well, there's the other guys. Time to back off for a bit and let the skirmish team spot for me to tell me when it's safe again. Yep, now seems good. Time to finish the wrecking job. I wonder if I can get the general as well. He seems to be making himself a target. Alright, the snipers are getting tired, and the next phase is fast approaching. time to start moving them back. But the cavalry, I think I'll try to get a bit greedy with. How about those supply wagons? I'm going to rotate my scrub teams here since one of them has taken significantly more damage. Keep attacking. General, the Federal 6th Corps has been spotted at Germana Plank Road. It is not yet certain if it will attack us or head to the right flank a few miles away from here. In any case, you must keep attacking the 5th Corps. If the Federal 6th Corps marches towards your position, additional reinforcements will be dispatched to support you. So, Phase 2. The arrow that we were just shown is either a red herring, or it was supposed to indicate the force that we just intercepted the heck out of, and the devs just mistimed the trigger. Either way, nothing is coming along this road, which is a good thing because a large reinforcement group will be coming in from here, fronted by several huge cavalry units. The start of Phase 2 marks the end of your adventures in cannon crashing. Even if some of them are still around, you need to start moving your units back to the main force, or they are going to be cut off. I mean, I guess you could leave them up here intentionally, but I'd rather not let them possibly get found by what is now a half-dozen huge horse units that have a tendency to run all over the place. As for the reinforcements themselves, they are going to come in spread over this area and head in this direction to join their existing forces. Once again, of my own reinforcements, I'll be sending the cannons to the main fight, but sending all the infantry up to this area. The 2 infantry I sent up earlier will be positioned in the woods here. With any luck, they'll get some shots off at crossing cavalry teams, or even attract the attention of an enemy in the open infantry or two. The goal for the rest of this stage is to get all my other infantry up here and sweeping east, for an eventual push at the Union's backside. Also known as the only spot on the map they don't have a defensive emplacement with huge bonuses. I'd much rather not have to charge over open ground into fortified positions if I can help it. The stage has a hard end of 2130. I don't need to have the objectives fully taken by that time, but I do need to at least be contesting them. Yes, I am being very greedy here with the supply wagons. I actually did the same thing in an earlier attempt and ended up having to restart after losing all of my cavalry, so I'm not sure I recommend this in your game. You'll see just how close I cut this myself in a few minutes. Alright, here comes the last of my troops. In addition to the infantry, I need to make sure I send the general and a supply wagon up north. I used the sniper team to try to take out the general while covering the captured wagons, and I really shouldn't have. If his stamina was better off, it may have been a good plan, but due to his exhausted state, he ends up getting caught by a cavalry team. Not the end of the world, but still not the best result. time for a textbook flanking maneuver. This enemy infantry is going to have two guys it wants to face, but they will be at right angles to them, and whichever direction they swing, they'll end up putting their edge just barely within firing range of the other unit. Well, it looks like my massive flank with cavalry support is going to stop yet another cannon and 2 infantry from joining the main force. Like I said at the beginning, this stage has the easy potential to be a massive success or a massive mire. And of course, the one I upload to YouTube is the success one, so, you know. Alright, well, one of those 2 infantry seems to be making a dash for the main force. But still, a cannon, an infantry, 2 supply wagons, and the general is a good takeaway from what was just supposed to be me getting into position. I'll drop one of my scrubs off here and send the rest further along. Yeah, this is going to take a while. park a sniper and a mid-range here. So, my final destinations for my troops will be to place the 2 scrubs and the melee team in the woods here, and the 3 sniper squads over in these areas. The snipe teams are really just there to prevent a flank from an unexpected cavalry unit, or to move up to take a flanking shot or something. Honestly, if they spend the rest of the stage completely unspotted, I'm fine with that. The sniper skirmishers will be moved over to here, and will be what I try to use to find, spot, and target the remaining enemy cannons. And the cavalry will... Actually, I'm going to place them back here as some sort of emergency reserve, but now that I think about it, I probably should have had them run around the map a lot for stamina training. Oh well. Alright, time to get across the river, holding fire to make sure no one decides to stop mid-swim. It's important to keep an eye on your cannons, especially the long-range ones, to make sure they choose targets not in a fortified position. Left to their own devices, they will just fire at whatever is closest. Okay, I need to apologize for something. I'm calling this series a strategy guide, but this is really something I should have highlighted like 30 videos ago. You notice how when I gave the order to target this cannon, the arrows on the screen seem to split here into two arrows. This means that the cannons either can't reach or can't see the target you gave them. In order to fire at the selected target, they will need to move to where the first arrow is pointing. Plan your bombardments accordingly. Time for my bad idea of the stage. I'd try and get a sniper team in to take a single volley at the enemy cannon. The thing is, the only target that cannon had to fire at was the sniper team over here, so it's already pointing right at the team I'm trying to slip into range. And I didn't exactly time this to arrive between reloads. I don't think that exchange was worth it. I'll stick to my skirmish snipers wearing them down. So, full disclosure, but I have no intention of completely wiping out the Union force this map. They just have too many men and too many fortified positions. I'm just going to do what damage I can to the most exposed enemies, then make a last-minute push towards the flags. I think it's time I moved my cannons up a bit. Most of what I can still hit is just dug-in infantry. Right around here, I noticed that my cannons were taking counterfire, and it, of course, was the 20-pound parrot that was the focus. But I checked the men I had left versus the cannons I was returning fire on, and decided I would be able to drop both enemy batteries before I lost a gun. I didn't realize there was actually a third enemy battery still out there. I actually do pull them back before I lost a second cannon, but still, I don't seem to be micromanaging my most expensive artillery very well, do I? It's time to begin the squeeze. I do need to push in from all sides but the east, so I'll move various infantry in to get shots into the sides of the fortified defenders. With any luck, breaking them off their walls before they get more than one return volley off. And there you have it. If I had another hour, I may have been able to do a more complete surround, but this is still a good result. Even my cavalry came out better than usual. I didn't pause to look at it, but my 2 dedicated bullet sponge teams took about 2/3 of the stage's casualties. And wow, not a single officer lost? Really? I lost a 20-pound parrot, but I got 4 new ones off the Union, so it's still a net gain. The career point I think I need to think about this. I'll get to it next video. Promotion-wise, it seems the only advancement is the mid-range infantry and skirmish cavalry of 3rd Corps. But a look at the 3rd Corps cannons shows a lot of them are just barely off of a 3rd star. I'll see between stages if I can do something about that. The Union got a reinforcement batch about as large as their casualties from this map, so their army size hasn't changed much. Still, for the next grand battle, 51k is a lot better than the 100k it was after Chickamauga, and I don't think that number factors in the 5% bonus from completing the stage. But we'll find out next time in the massive fight that is Cold Harbor.